Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome back to another edition of Track Walk in MX Bikes, where today we're going to be checking out the Race Tech Ranch, made, of course, by the one and only Checkerz 448. This is available for $3 on the MX Bike shop page. You guys can check out a link to it in the description below. And boy, does this track ever have a cool backstory. This is actually a ported track from MX Sim, so to speak. The height map and everything, at least, is from Sim. And it originated all the way back when it was very popular in MX Simulator to do these things called 30-minute track competitions. The gist of it was basically that you had 30 minutes to build a height map, and then you would play these tracks with all your friends, and there's some ridiculous tracks that are made from it, but also some really fun tracks. And this was one that Checkerz just kind of started to throw together and eventually started to build up in Sim, and made this spectacular sand track that was never officially raced in Sim, but they were hoping to do some races. So we'll take you through the three tracks. This is the RUMG Hardcore, or Racers Unknown Moto Grounds track, and this one is the full-length version of the track, like the entire track more or less put together. There's a couple sections that it doesn't actually go through that you'll see in a moment on the Localcross Track, but basically what you need to know is there's one track that turns into two tracks about halfway around this lap. So the first maybe 25-30 seconds of this lap are all the same, and then it eventually goes off into a different direction, and I'll show you that when we get there. But the entire track is a sand track. It's a very flowy, high-speed sand track as well. There you go. You can see we're going to the right instead of the left. When we do the Localcross Track, we'll go to the left. But this, again, this track is much larger than the Localcross Track, and you'll see that in a few minutes. So the entire track is sand, very high speed, a lot of jumps on it as well, which is uncharacteristic for a sand track, but I think it actually works well because with the sand, it actually kind of slows speeds down a little bit and makes some of these jumps like real hucks that are pretty fun to hit. And there's obviously a lot of options on this track as well, inside, outside. One of those things that Checkerz has always been fantastic at when he builds these tracks, and kudos to him because he always does a great job with tying lines together that you never really would have thought worked. But basically anywhere you go on this track, you're going to find a way to get around the track pretty fast and smooth. And like I said, even though it is sand, it is pretty jumpy. So there's actually a lot of good opportunities to throw big whips and do some cool things. And one thing that I really like particularly about this track, it being a sand track, is that it is one of those tracks where you can kind of send it and not really feel like you're going to get bit by that too much. Like, obviously you have to have a good enough skill set to be good in sand in this game to some degree, but unlike some sand tracks, like let's say, you know, the MXGP sand tracks that are put out by the, you know, high-end guys making the MXGP tracks in this game, I feel like there's a certain level of skill set that you need to be able to go fast on those tracks because they're super rough, super technical. And while this one can be technical, it's really not all that rough, and it's pretty easy to find a good little flow around all different areas of this racetrack. So it's like an easy sand track that makes you feel like you're going a lot faster than you really are going around the racetrack. And I like that because, again, for more beginner players that may want to play this track, you don't get caught out by the fact that it's an unrealistically hard track to play. It's fun, it's fast, and it's super flowy. So this is the entire main track, more or less, that you'll see completed a lap here, and then we'll jump over to the Localcross Track. But we're also going to do a giveaway. We have 3 codes to give away. Courtesy of my guy Checkerz, who lent us some codes to give away, and we're going to do it simple. If you're watching this video, you're one of the first people actually able to tune in and watch on our Start Your Systems YouTube channel. You kind of win because of this. So if you are one of the first 3 people to go to our Instagram page at Start Your Systems and just DM us and say, I watched the video, I watched your most recent track walk, what are one of the codes, whatever you want to say to me, and if you're one of the first 3 there, we'll give you the code, and everyone else will let you know that you're too late to the party, and so on and so forth. I'd imagine those will go pretty quick, so hopefully if you're watching this video, you're watching it pretty quickly, and you're able to jump over to our Instagram and win a code for this track. But again, just $3 on the shop, and I think it's worth it because it's really 3 tracks in one. Here's a spin off to the local track, so the first, again, 4 or 5 corners are the same as the main track, and then you spin off to this track over here, and then you think, well, that's kind of weird because now we're just joining back up with the track, but actually you're on these opposite lanes that are going different directions from where you were going. So now we're going backwards up into this corner, you're going to U-turn and kind of go backwards again across the track right here, down into this corner, and then cut back across, and then you're going to jump over the track. So this is normally a long sweeping sand corner, jump over the track, all the way into this little back section, and then the track jumps over you right here going the other way. So then you drop down here, and then you finally join back up with the main track. But you're not done just yet, because again, in a few moments, you're going to jump off to the left right here instead of going right up the big step up. And you have this little split lane inside-outside options. Little triple jump right here is kind of cool. And then bam, right back onto the main track. So it's not massively shorter. It's really just about a 1 minute difference, 2 minute versus 3 minute lap time. But it's shorter enough that I could see this version of the track, the Racetech Ranch Localcross Track, being used a bit more for either fun races or even if it was included in a series, because when you have the shorter lap times, I think it makes the racing maybe a little bit more close and better, whereas the long lap time feels a little bit more like an endurance track. So I think this one might be used a little bit more, but both tracks, again, so much fun. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you guys on this track is the Hillside SMX track. It is really basically a hillside supercross track, but it's just enough not hardcore supercross that I think you can get away with not calling it a supercross track. And this is borderline the most fun supercross track I've ever played in any game, because it uses elevation to its advantage. So you're going up and downhill almost the whole time, and kind of makes the sections flow a whole lot different than any other supercross section. But also because it's not like a true supercross track and there's a lot of different variations of lines you can take, it almost feels like a little bit of a local cross track in and of itself. So very fun and easy to find the flow on this track. The only whoop section is that, and it's like 8 whoops, and honestly I think you could just lean back and go through it no problem, so don't have to worry about having a skill set through whoops right there. But then yeah, we have split lines right here. I'm going to show you 2 laps on this track so we can show you kind of both variations of the lines. You got a left side option right here where you go double, triple over this, and then double into the corner. You could go 2, 3, 1 into the corner on the right side. I like this inside. I think the inside's a little bit better there. Then you got a little roller single jump, step down double, and then rollers right here. So this isn't even supercrossy. This is much more of like an outdoor section, getting to the inside rut in this corner, and then back up the hill to the finish line jump. And because it's sand, again, it's got a more grippy feel to it, and you don't feel like you're carrying too much speed in any location. Like even the downhill jumps, you don't feel like you're ever going too fast for. And then obviously the uphill jumps are a bit more of a huck. So here's the option line in the rhythm section: double in, double across. Then you jump right here, and right here I just step on and then triple off into the corner. But you can go over table, double into the corner. Obviously different variations with the ruts right here. And then I think at the top of the hill, first lap I went on, off, triple down the hill, but this lap we're going to go over, double, and then double down the hill. So like I said, like it's enough of a supercross track that it feels like you're doing some supercross obstacles, but it's enough variation as well that it doesn't feel like you're kind of stale and stuck doing the exact same thing over and over again. So I love Checkerz for all the variations that he adds to these tracks. I mean, I think he's meticulous and very thoughtful about how he includes these things as well, where some people will put option lines, but you almost know that those aren't going to be the main lines. I think Chris really does a good job of kind of making sure that both lines kind of flow into each other, and it's why I've always been a massive fan of his tracks. So highly recommend this track and this Supercross, or SMX track as he calls it. Probably my favorite track on this compound. I think I could find myself doing hours upon hours of laps. I did play this actual version of this Supercross track a long time ago. We did a little elim race on it when he was still building this track. So a lot of fun. The whole compound is awesome. Racetech Ranch, $3 now available on the MX Bike shop. And again, if you want to get involved in that competition, head over to our Instagram page and DM us and let us know if you want those 3 codes. So thanks for watching another edition of Track Walk here on Star Your Systems, and we'll see you guys again soon. So long for now.